Witches and Wizards, it's time to don your robes. A video featuring 15 minutes of Harry Potter Legacy gameplay has been released, and it looks magical.
And Xbox had a game showcase, tons of amazing looking games. We're going to talk all about the highlights from that, plus so much more, right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. We're here every week, every Monday morning, bringing you the best video game news, the biggest video game news, all the news that you need to get through the week. My name is Erock the Red. I am joined, as always, by Full Clip. What's going on, dude? How are you today?
What's up? Doing pretty good. You know, this week I was sort of worried that we weren't going to be able to scrounge up some news, but massive stuff has dropped, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it came together, dude. It was a very slow week. In fact, we pushed off our recording by a couple days just because, that was one of the reasons. So yeah, I'm glad we did because, yeah, some stuff popped up, some exciting things happened. Before we get into that, though, you been playing anything good?
I tried out Forza Horizon 5 finally on a PC. I really can't stream it. I tried so hard, but that thing, It looks so good. It's so intensive that I can't run both at the same time, unfortunately. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a great racing game, a great arcade style racing game. I want to get back to it, and we were just talking right before we started recording that. I am officially going to buy an Xbox. So once I get that on there, and I don't have to worry about running it over the cloud anymore, I'm really excited to get back into that because, like you said, it's a graphically intense game, and you need to be running it on high. So
and as important as the physics are, I'm surprised that they would do that over the cloud. Right,
dude, I was shocked when I was playing it on my phone, through with a backbone controller, and it was it lagged here and there, but it ran really well. That's when I knew the cloud that Xbox had was dude, give it another year and it's gonna be working great if it can run stuff like that, But anything else? You make any more headway in your Call of Duty hunt for the? What is it?
Nah.
What is the skin?
Atomic Camo was the ultimate goal. No, I took a little break from that after finally getting the diamond launchers. I can only take so much in such a short amount of time.
I know our listeners are very excited to hear more about that. So we got to keep them abreast of the situation.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep you updated.
Yes. I've just been really playing Elden Ring. Just cruising through that, still enjoying it, having a blast. I am getting a little it's at a point now in the game where it's getting harder. It's getting much harder. There's certain things that I need to accomplish, and I'm getting not frustrated, but I'm not as. I need a little break. So I've been feeling I got to go back into I think Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna get back into, or maybe even Sifu. But with Sifu, there's I was just picking up on that learning curve, and now I got to relearn it all again. It's a whole different experience. But my kid has been really into. We've been playing Transformers Devastation. I don't know how old this game is, but it's it's just it's a very cartoony Transformers game, but it's an action game with fighting. It's not the best game, but it has all his favorites. So we've been doing a lot of Transformers Devastation on top of that.
What's that on PlayStation?
Yeah, I think it must have been a PlayStation Plus title or something because I don't remember buying it, but I have it. So I don't know what else it's on, but yeah, it is. He's really enjoying it. It's tough, dude. There's parts where it's so it's kind of the same thing as an Elden Ring where you explore through this map. It's much more linear, and then you have to fight a boss, and we just fought Moto Master, and he was very difficult. And I'm I don't know who any of these things are, but he's enjoying it. All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's talk about our new releases from this past week. All right, first up, we just have to mention GTA 5, GTA Online, available now for PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. We talked about it a bunch. Nothing new to add, but we just have to you declare it is official. It's out there. And play it if you want. Or don't. Yeah. Who gives a turkey? You know what I'm saying? Next up, let's talk about Tunic. This came out March 16th for PC, Xbox One, and Xbox X. This game it's one of the reasons that I said I wanted to get an Xbox. It's a super cute, like kind of Zelda adventure, like an old school like Zelda adventure game. It's got like a bunch of puzzles to solve, but it's like this fox. You're this fox and you gotta like beat up bad guys and solve puzzles, and it looks really cute. Like the indie games that they're coming out that are putting them out, like, I mean, so this is a brand new game coming right out on Game Pass. The indie games that they're putting out on there, they're like, they all look really good. Indie games, they used to have a stigma, you know, like it was like a cheap game that, but now there's like, you know, you can't determine the distinction anymore. There's like AAA games and there's indie games, but like, dude, there's that area in between where a lot of these games are falling and they look awesome.
Yeah, this one definitely looks polished.
Yeah.
It does not look like the old school indie games where you're like questioning how good is this going to be just looking at it. It looks great. It's got that sort of top-down 3/4 view. It looks like sort of very atmospheric with the different levels that you can see the character going through in the trailer. And it looks like there's a lot of puzzle solving, which is also a cool element. Out of everything that we probably covered today that has been announced, I think this is the one that I'm going to try.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it looks super cute. Real beautiful animation. Real colorful. I like it. I'm definitely down for that. And it's getting great reviews. So I think it was at like an 80-something on Metacritic when I checked. Not a ton of reviews, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But like everybody said that the story is a great story and the gameplay is fantastic and the puzzles are challenging but not overly difficult. So all those things I was like, I'm in. All right, next up, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Came out March 17th for PC, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. It's weird, you know, it's just a trifecta of console PC releases. But this is a 2D fighting game, very like Japanese looking fighting game if you're, you know, all familiar with those style games. Like, but this has all your favorite Persona characters with their, you know, they do their arts, and then they do their persona move. It's like they're special and you're just battling. And again, this one's getting great reviews. More so for fans of the Persona series. I played Persona 4. I never finished it, but I enjoyed it. I played that on the Vita, I remember. The Persona 4 Golden Edition. And that was a great game, but it's intense, dude. You can play those for hundreds of hours. Because you got to, like, in those games, in the role-playing games, you have to, like, live your life. And then, like, so you got to go to school and attend meetings and, like, join a soccer team. And then after all that, you go and fight bad guys. So it's intense. This one, you just get to fight things. So, you know.
It took me a minute watching the trailer to figure out that this was like something very different and not just an add-on to Persona 4. It looks a lot more like Tekken or Street Fighter or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. It's just a fighting game, kind of like those, you know, King of Fighters, JoJo Bizarre Adventures, where it's like really weird and weird characters, but like fun. So, you know, if any of that sounds good, go check that one out. And lastly, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox S and X. This is a action role-playing game set in the Final Fantasy world. Now, this is a alternate universe prequel to the very first Final Fantasy game. So, if you're at all familiar with the story of Final Fantasy, this has a lot of those characters, just kind of shifts it a little bit, tips it on its side. But everything I'm hearing about this one, again, really cool combat. Unfortunately, the story's not the best. It's kind of incoherent, which I find is like a lot of the Final Fantasy stories are just like don't make any sense. But you know, they sell. Everybody loves Final Fantasy stuff. Have you ever got into the Final Fantasy games or anything?
Not since like the Super Nintendo have I played a Final Fantasy game, but they always look cool.
Yeah, they have, I mean, well, my buddy is like he's obsessed with Final Fantasy stuff, but he prefers the turn-based style combat. Now this it's getting a lot of comparisons to Neo, or maybe like a kind of a watered down Souls like game, just not as challenging. So, if you've ever wanted to get into playing Neo and the idea of how hard it was scared you away, this might be the answer to that, to get into that style of game. But it looks good. And if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you're probably already playing it. All right, that's it. Those are the big hitters that came out this past week. Now let's switch things up and let's talk about our news of the week. All right, first up, let's talk about that Xbox Showcase. This is the ID at Xbox Showcase. This was on March 16th. It was about 90 minutes of gameplay, of game announcements, trailers, that sort of thing. Really cool stuff. I just want to go through some of the highlights from that experience. Now, this showcase is like what is pushing me to the edge to like, okay, I need to invest in a console for these. I can't just keep playing them on my phone or my computer. So, and they are, so we already talked about Tunic. There's another game, Immortality. This is like a movie. It's one of those movies that's a game, like you decide what the characters in the movie do. Like, I always love these games. They're fun party games, kind of like work with a group to like choose like what's going to happen. Because it's like you're watching a movie, but you're deciding, what's going on in that movie. So this one looks really, really cool. This is about a missing woman, and you use found footage to solve the case and, try to figure out the answers. But like it's just a live action movie. They record like all these different things and you choose your own adventure. I love the idea of those. Excited for this one.
Yeah, that one seems interesting because it's a trilogy, so it's kind of like, does it have to end a certain way for the next one to pick up?
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very ambitious idea to do this whole thing, and the way it looks is really, really cool. It's like kind of retro looking, and I'm excited for that one. Another one, Flintlock, Siege of Dawn. Now, this is from the developers of Ashen. Again, a Game Pass Day 1 released. It's an action role-playing game, but with like guns and a little bit of magic. So right there, I was like, okay, cool. I never played Ashen, but it always struck me as a really cool-looking game. Quality graphics and that sort of thing. This one looks fantastic. It's just the world looks really cool. Did you happen to check out this trailer?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's I only watched a little bit of it, but I was like, all right, I'm in. It's going to be on Game Pass Day 1. I like guns. I like magic. I like role-playing games. So, bam. What more do you need, right?
Oh, yeah.
Escape Academy. Now, this is an escape room puzzle game. Like, who doesn't like escape rooms, right? Have you ever gone to an escape room?
Not an actual one. I've done a breakout box though. It's the same concept.
Okay, yeah, I've never done one, but I like I like puzzles. I think I would be good at it. I don't know, so I will test my mettle with this game. You could play it cooperatively online or split screen mode. So yeah, that one sounds cool. This one though, I was excited for. WrestleQuest, dude. This is a old school looking like pixel art role playing game, but you're a wrestler trying to like come up in the wrestling world. It's kind of like Earthbound or something like that style of like sprite.
I was thinking character. It looked a lot like Terraria.
Yes, yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, but yeah, so your goal is to like be the next Macho Man. They have Macho Man in the game. Andre the Giant, Jake the Snake, like a huge cast of like these classic legendary wrestlers, and you gotta like go in there. You gotta do moves and like decisions you make change your character's direction, and it looks adorable and really, really fun. I'm super excited for that one. WrestleQuest. I don't know if I saw a date for that one, but I am excited. Another one announced that it came out right away, right at this showing, Paradise Killers. This is a game I almost bought a few weeks ago, and it is like it's kind of like a detective game where you're on this island and you have to like solve a case. Like I always like these detective games. Like, have you ever played Ace the Attorney? You ever play those games?
No.
Those are fun.
About.
Yeah, you got to like you have to go to the crime scene and get clues and try to like interrogate people. And this one is a lot like that, but it got a ton of really great buzz when it was initially released, and then they're like, okay, now it's available Game Pass right now. Yeah. So yeah, I almost bought it a couple weeks ago on the Nintendo Switch. It was on sale.
Looks really cool. Looks like it's got this like neon 1980s sort of vibe that's kind of happening right now.
Absolutely. It's kind of like what was that? What was that one game where you had to like kill everybody? It was like that top down.
Looks like original GTA.
Yeah, what was that one called? I love that.
Streets of Rage?
No, I don't know. It's gonna bug me, but it was just like you had like a samurai sword, and it was like you just had to wait for people to walk in the room, and you slice their heads off. Anyways, Miami, no, I don't remember. But anyways, we're moving on. It has nothing to do with Paradise Killer, which is out now. But yeah, those are the highlights that really popped to me. Any of them? Any other ones that you want to mention that we didn't?
No, those were the main ones that I saw. Yeah, I'm excited for a few of those.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, these are all just coming to Game Pass. Like, not all of them, but I think like the majority of all the games that they announced were like available on Game Pass day one. So, yeah, excited for all of those. Now, speaking of Game Pass, they announced the second half titles for March this past week, and a lot more really cool stuff. So let me run through the list. We got Shredders. This came out on March 17th on cloud PC and Xbox Series X and S. This is a snowboarding game. I almost tried this the other day. I haven't tried it yet. It looks interesting. You gotta, kind of like a Tony Hawk type thing, but for snowboarding. More racing, I think, involved. You got to do tricks and that sort of thing. Upgrade your character. Do all the challenges. So if you're into snowboarding, Shredders, baby. Dungeon of Nahul Bok, the Amulet of Chaos. Nailed that, right?
I think so.
So that came out for cloud and console, also on March 17th. It's in an adventure in a fantasy universe. Let's see, epic and challenging tactical RPG. Exciting, very exciting. Tainted Grail Conquest comes out on console on March 22nd. This is another role-playing game. It's a hybrid between a deck-building roguelike and an RPG. You create your own combos out of hundreds of cards and learn how to survive in a dark, unforgiving world shrouded by a mysterious, deadliest force known as the Weirdness. So that's cool. That sounds really good. I remember reading the synopsis of that and being bummed that it's not on cloud. So I won't have to worry about that. So, Zero Escape, the Nunnery games. This is a group of strangers are kidnapped and forced to participate in a diabolical game of death. Who can be trusted? Tensions rise as the situation becomes increasingly dire. Can you find a way out of the Nunnery games? Or will you pay the ultimate price? I just like saying Nunnery.
Yeah, it sounds like a completely different game.
Yeah, try it. Say it.
Nunnery.
Yeah! This game comes out cloud, console, and PC on March 22nd. Norco comes out March 24th on PC. This is a southern gothic point-and-click narrative adventure to explore the sinking suburbs and verdant industrial swamps of a distorted South Louisiana. All right, that's a game.
Yes.
And then F1 2021 is also available March 24th on console through EA Play. So get out there and do your fancy racing in your fancy cars. And then rounding out the month, two more. Crusader Kings 3 is available now with PC Game Pass and coming soon to Xbox Series X and S on March 29th. don't know if we talked about this one. I think we talked about this one when it was being released. This is a big game. This one they've already been a lot more sales than they expected. So people are excited. It's a strategy role playing game where you gotta get your medieval family power. Not my cuppa, but I know everybody is really enjoying it. And then lastly, Weird West, March 31st for cloud, console, and PC. This is a day one release on Game Pass. It's a dark fantasy reimagining of the Wild West where lawmen and gunslingers share the frontier with fantastical creatures, each playing with their own rules and their own particular motives. That sounds interesting. I'm down for that.
Yeah, that's probably like top of this list for me.
I haven't seen any gameplay of it. I don't know what style of gameplay it is, but dude, that's dark fantasy, Wild West. That sounds dope. Yeah,
give me like a Borderlands style thing. I could play that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. It comes out March 31st, but which is like actually 6 days after Borderlands Tiny Tina, which I'm sure will be taking up a lot of my time. But all right, yeah. So that's a lot of things happening with Xbox and Game Pass in the month of March and beyond. So keep it here for more Game Pass news. All right. Next up, let's talk about a new state of play. Avalanche Software and Sony Interactive Entertainment hosted a state of play live stream to show off the new game Hogwarts Legacy. They showed 15 minutes of the gameplay. It's going to be coming out for PS4, PS5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox S and X sometime in the holiday season. They gave us the release window, not a date, which is good because this has been delayed a couple times. I expected it to be delayed into 2023, so I was pleasantly surprised when it was announced that it would be coming out this year. But I was also pleasantly surprised with the gameplay, dude. It looks phenomenal. Yeah. Like I was excited when it was announced, and the teaser trailer they had, it was more of cinematic stuff. They didn't show any gameplay or anything, and it looked cool, but they kept delaying it. And I'm like, dude, this game's gonna suck. Like, we haven't heard anything. And then they showed the gameplay, and I was like, ooh-wee, man, it looks kind of like, I don't know, it looks a lot more mature than I thought it was going to, a little darker.
Yeah.
The magic looks awesome. It looks super great. So, is this one that is on your radar?
Absolutely, yeah. Now it is, after seeing the gameplay. Yeah. I know we talked about it when it was first announced that it was going to come out, but yeah, it looks like the Harry Potter game that we all dreamed of as kids when Harry Potter was like huge.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the best Harry Potter game now is just like the Lego Harry Potter games,
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
So this is set in the 1800s, the late 1800s, about 100 years before Harry Potter. Set at Hogwarts. You're playing a fifth year magic student, so you're already your powers, but you're new to the school, and it's just an action role-playing game. It's got skill trees, perks, you got to upgrade stuff, you have side quests, and you meet NPCs, and they give you stuff. It looks really, really cool. Absolutely super excited about this. My wife is a huge Harry Potter nerd, so I showed her this, the gameplay, and she's like, we're getting this, right? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, It's hard, and they did make a point to say that J.K. Rowling is not involved with the game at all. So now there's a ton of backlash, regarding J.K. Rowling's statements towards trans people and LGBTQ community. So, they definitely made a point that we are not associated with that crazy broad. We're using her properties. So it'll be interesting to see how it does affect sales in the midst of all this, because I know there's a lot of diehard Harry Potter fans that have just completely washed their hands of the series because of Rowling's ridiculous statements and actions towards the trans community. So, I don't know. I'm glad that they distanced themselves from it because, I don't, I won't feel guilty, I don't think, picking this up and playing it. I think it looks like a fantastic game, and we should support the creators of the game.
Yeah. I mean, that is all true. At the end of the day, I'm sure she's collecting a check from
Absolutely.
this.
I mean,
So,
yeah,
I don't know.
it's
I wasn't going to turn it down because of her tweets anyway. I'm still going to check it out.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it does. It looks beautiful. I was shocked at how good it ended up looking. So, all right, let's move on to another announcement that I'm very excited for. Supermassive Games. They are the producers of Until Dawn. I don't know if have you ever played Until Dawn? Dude,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, that's
It's a great one. So now they've announced the spiritual successor, really, to that game, game called The Quarry. So so they've had the Dark Pictures anthologies, and we've talked about those games. They're fine, but this one is more in line with kind of Until Dawn. It's a teen horror game where you have to survive, like similar to Until Dawn. For those of you who've never played Until Dawn, it's this cast of characters and you control each character and you have to try to survive this. I'm not going to give anything away if you've never played it, but it's like there's stuff happening and you got to survive by quick time events and decision making and that sort of thing. And now this is kind of what that is. You control 9 camp counselors as a night of celebrating the end of summer camp quickly goes sideways. So it appears as someone is hunting the counselors for sport. And that's the premise for this Quarry game. And it's got a ton of stars, dude. It's got David Arquette's in it, Ariel Winter from Modern Family, Lance Henriksen from the Aliens series, and then a ton of people from like a bunch of other things in it. So a lot of star power in this, and like the way that they do the motion capture, like it looks, I mean, it's just like a stranger version of like the actor, like, because Until Dawn had Rami Malek and what's her name, the cheerleader from Heroes.
Not sure.
Yeah. Anyways, but it's great. Like I'm super excited, and
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you because this is a topic that I end up like going on about all the time. What do you think about this trend of like they have the voice actor, but the voice actor's not playing a different character so much as they recreate their face almost entirely. Like Kevin Spacey, I think Kevin Spacey in Infinite Warfare, and I was going to say Rami Malek in Until Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's if they have the technology, why not? It's like it really is just like casting. These actors are acting that out. They're getting the entirely motion captured in the suit with the little balls and stuff all over their face. How Kevin Spacey likes it. And they're out there and they're acting, and I think it's a great way of doing it. It's weird because they have now, as we talked about earlier, with that one game where it's just a live action movie that you're deciding the choices. This one is, a step below that, but I think it allows you to be more a part of it as opposed to watching it. You're playing these characters, so I think it's a nice way to kind of use these actors that people know and love. Like when I saw this trailer and I was like, dude, David Arquette's in this? Like I was like, oh, awesome. I love David Arquette. So yeah. I like it, and it's getting better and better. Like Until Dawn, what is that, 10 years ago now maybe? That came out, maybe less. But the technology was a little sketchy there. Like, their mouths and their teeth did weird things. But now it's like, dude, it looks fantastic. So yeah, I'm all in. That one, I don't know if they announced a date for that. I don't believe so. I think just a game. I think that's all we got was just a game and a little teaser trailer. So keep an eye out for more information about that. And next up, Dr. Disrespect. He led his fans astray a little bit here. So he used images from the CD Projekt Red game Cyberpunk 2077 to advertise some sort of project he's working on, some NFT thing or something, right? I don't know. You know more about this. Give me the scoop on this bad boy.
Okay, so they've got a new game out, and it had its own controversy because there's like an early release window for their first game if you were one of so many people to buy like an NFT that had the game attached to it. Oh yeah,
so this is, I should say,
people weren't very happy.
It's not just Dr. Disrespect. It's, what is it, Midnight Society or whatever? His game studio, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and along with that came the website launch, and on the website as you go, like for a brief moment, one of those header images that sort of cycles through. One of those images was from Cyberpunk 2077, and people were thinking maybe it could be a CD Projekt Red collaboration that was coming up, and people were getting a little hyped over that. And other people were saying, well, no, they're just like stealing the art from CD Projekt Red. What they said, a representative for Midnight Society said, this was just an accident, more or less. They had that in there as a placeholder to convey mood. It was supposed to be replaced. The wrong file got uploaded, so they did not intend to steal artwork from CD Projekt Red or Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. It's a rough start, man. A rough start for Midnight Society here. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it has us talking about it anyway, so maybe it's not so bad.
I don't know. I do feel like they gotta I don't know. They gotta get their shit together, you know? Like it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we'll see. It's all about the gameplay, right? Who cares who steals what imagery or, accidentally puts it in their stuff? But the internet's gonna find it. If you make a mistake, the internet will call you out and shame you for at least 6 to 8 minutes. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about a couple new Netflix shows. First up, we got a new announcement and a little teaser of Tekken Bloodline, a new anime set in the Tekken world. This is announced to come out later this year. It's going to be centered on Jin Kazama, that character. I'm sure we'll see all our favorite Tekken characters. I don't even remember any Tekken characters.
Remember the lion-headed guy?
Yeah, he was like a wrestler. He was like that one. Yeah, that was great. You got Sub-Zero, Ryu.
Yeah, I think so.
All the classics. So yeah, that's a interesting anime idea that comes out later this year. And then we got news about the new live-action Resident Evil series. We got the premiere date, July 14th. This is brand new series. It's set 14 years after the initial virus from Resident Evil, and set in New Raccoon City, which is, just Raccoon City, but with like a new one on top of it. You know how they do. So zombies and shit happens. So I'm excited for that one. I'm a fan of all those Resident Evil movies and the ideas that come with the Resident Evil games, but there's so much backstory and there's so much canon within those series. It's like I don't know what anything is happening in any of the movies or TV shows anymore. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully this is a fresh start and will get us psyched about Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. That's our news. You got anything to add?
Nothing to add other than we'll be back on Fruit Lab hopefully by the beginning of next month. We had that rough estimate of 2 weeks starting back on the 16th. Yep. So hopefully we'll be back in video form on there.
Yeah, definitely check out, if you're not checking this out on Fruit Lab, go check out Fruit Lab. You can't really do much with the site right now, but it's going to be a brand new cryptocurrency. If you're into that sort of stuff, the PIP. It's all about the PIP. Go make some money.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, check us out there. So, all right, that's it. Usually we would do a content creator of the week. We're not going to do one this week just because Fruit Lab is down. We'll do one when that comes back up. Hopefully a bunch of new content creators for us to, to check out and pimp their wares. But that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. My name is E-Rock the Red on Fruit Lab. This guy is Full Clip. You can also check him out playing games on Twitch every once in a while, FullClip_FL. You can find this show as well as a bunch of other shows and other podcasts, that sort of thing, on YouTube under Pop Culture Playground is the place that we do it. And then listen to this. If you're not watching it, you're listening. You can get that anywhere podcast services have podcasts. If you're getting it from Spotify or Apple Music, though, give us a 5-star review. Bump us up a little bit, make the world know about us. Gaming News Weekly. We are the best weekly video game news show. So people should know. People need to know. You know what I'm saying?
We're telling them.
All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, listening, however you're doing this. And we will see you more next week with some more Gaming News Weekly.